I work for a company located here in Park City called backcountry.com. We're an online specialty retailer that operates 10 websites that sell outdoor gear to the outdoor market, the action sports market, and the bike market. We will have about 70 million unique people visit our websites this year. We'll ship over 3 million orders, and we have 850 employees. I'm lucky enough to be the CEO. But I'm not your typical CEO. Well, at least if you look at the Fortune 500, the CEOs of those companies, 97% are men, 58% are aged 50 to 59, and about 58% are just under 6 feet tall. And that's a staggering statistic because of the US population of men, only about 15% are 6 foot tall. I'm also not this CEO, although I got to tell you, when I did a search on Google image search for a female CEO, I was pretty shocked to find this one. I mean, don't get me wrong, she looks fabulous, but I'm more this CEO. Well, that CEO. Yes? Yeah, that's me. So I have 2 young daughters. I have a 4-year-old and a 5-month-old. And pretty much on any given day, if you stop by my office roughly 1 of 5 times and the door's shut, I am hovered over my computer, working furiously and pumping. I do it because, I think it's important. And one of the questions I get asked often is, well, how do you balance the whole having young kids and running a big company? And I said, well, you just do it. And you do what's important, and you make your time important, and you're there in that moment. And one of the things I think is important is breastfeeding. I mean, I've looked at all the studies, and I know that breastfed babies are healthier. They have a lower incidence of illness and infection, and their IQ is anywhere from 5 to 10 points higher than formula-fed babies. So, I think I'm doing my part during the day. Don't get me wrong, it's a major pain. I'm hauling that breast pump everywhere. I'm pumping at the office. I'm pumping in parking lots before meetings. I'm pumping on airplanes next to men. It's very awkward. So they look over and they're like, what's she doing under that jacket? And I pump in the closet at the Eccles Center. But I make the choice because I want to have it all, and I know I can have it all. So my answer to how do you do it, you just do it. The second thing I get asked is, well, what makes a great leader? And how do you get to a C-level in a company? How do you, against all odds, run a big company as a young woman? So I've got 5 tips for you today. These are the things I think are important. Hopefully there's something that you can take forward with you as you look at your career and you aim, because you should aim very high. So I think highly competitive is good. I mean, be competitive. I believe that people want to follow leaders that want to win. And if you want to win and you are competitive, then people will get behind you and they'll want you to win and they'll want the organization to win. I think back to my childhood, and my first job ever was scraping gum off the bottom of desks. It was the summer before I went into 6th grade. And I can really remember the first day because I started with 3 other kids. And we were all given buckets and spatulas, and we were told, okay, go get the gum off the bottom of the desks. And I ran around like mad. I was like, I'm going to get the most gum. I'm going to win. And it was kind of ridiculous because I was being paid by the hour, not by how much gum I collected. But it didn't matter. I wanted to be the best. I wanted to set that goal for myself, and I wanted to win. And I've pretty much now taken that through my entire career. Obsess over your work. I love this quote by Steve Jobs. He says, when you're a carpenter making a beautiful chest of drawers, you're not going to use a piece of plywood on the back, even though it faces the wall and nobody will ever see it. You'll know it's there, so you're going to use a beautiful piece of wood on the back. For you to sleep well at night, the aesthetic, the quality has to be carried all the way through. And that speaks to me. Again, when getting asked, well, gosh, how are you CEO of such a large company? You're so young, you're so female, you're so short. I say, well, early on, I believed that I could do anything, and I took the extra steps. I worked extra hard. The best example I have is that anytime I start a new company, I find that it takes me about 2 to 3 times longer to write an email in those first 6 months than it will, say, a year or 2 later. And the reason is because I feel like every time I do something, every time I communicate, I want the people on the other end of that communication to be wowed by my work. So I really think if you want to be there, you just have to put in the extra work, and you really have to focus on quality. Next tip, be ridiculously transparent. So you have to be PR for yourself. You have to tell people, here's what I'm doing, here's why it's important, and here are the results. I still do this in my current job. So as CEO of Backcountry, I have a blog. It's called Jill's 2 Cents, and I'm blogging out to the company 2-3 times a week, and I'm telling the company what I'm doing, what's important to the business, where we're winning, where we have challenges, and I'm reassuring them that I'm doing my job and I'm leading the company in the right direction. Number 4, EQ is greater than IQ. So don't get me wrong, you definitely have to be smart, but emotional intelligence, I think, is underrated. And gosh, as women, I feel that we have a lot of this. We really need to embrace it and nurture it and learn how to work really well with people. Empathy and sympathy and communication is super important if you're going to lead an organization. When I became CEO, I met with 70 of our employees, kind of selected at random, and I asked them a series of 3 questions. I said, what do you want to preserve about Backcountry and why? What are you concerned I'm going to do? And what do you hope I do? And I really took the time to connect with our employees, listen to them, and really kind of start to connect with them on a personal level. I think too often, people in general, but especially women, focus obsessively on being the smartest person in the room. That's actually not the most important thing. The most important thing is that you connect to people and you inspire them. So that takes me to my 5th point. Be infectious. Yes, Richard Simmons. 45 years and 12 million pounds of weight loss, and he still has people parting the pounds off and sweating to the oldies. That's infectious. It's amazing. This guy, he makes you want to get up and exercise. He makes you want to follow him. I really think that if you want to be a leader and if you want to be a strong woman, don't hide, don't pretend that you're serious or that you're cerebral. Really embrace what energy you have and what passion you have. Love what you do what you love, and then give it to the world. I really believe that that's what makes a great leader. So in closing, let me try and be infectious for a moment. I'm not a man. I'm not over 50. I'm definitely not 6 feet tall, but I have it all. So I hope that you guys leaving here today view the world a little bit less full of obstacles and instead full of opportunity. Thank you.